Sarah Palin's book, #1, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, New York Times, which really has to kill the New York Times. I carried it proudly to get a manicure yesterday, Governor Palin, and people were so annoyed, all the liberals in D.C., but the ladies who actually do the work in the salons, they're like, where can I get that? Can I borrow that after you're finished? I said, no, go out and buy it. She's an author. She needs your support. So you have your fans out there. I want to ask you about this issue of your celebrity and, obviously the ups and downs of your family life and, Levi, all this stuff. Are you worried that detracts from this common sense conservatism that you're espousing, that you're trying to use to defeat these Obama initiatives?
Oh, I think that distraction is pathetic, and that's what the mainstream media is trying to do, of course. But let's hold on to what Jefferson used to remind us, that we can't underestimate the wisdom of the people, and the people of America know to get beyond that filter of that mainstream media, get right to the issues, and hear what it is that I and you and other common sense conservatives stand for.
And Governor Palin, let's say you are politically very active nationally in a couple of years, and maybe you're even in the Republican primary to become president of the United States for the nomination, and how do you foresee your vision selling in states like California and New York? Do you see that ever happening?
Do I see them coming around and seeing the light and understanding that under this administration we're on the wrong road? Yeah, I see that shift coming. I really do. I think that true change that America needs is just up ahead. And I think that to get there, we're going to have more and more revelation of what the Obama administration really stands for. Obviously, they stand for growing government. They stand for more government intervention in our businesses, in our families, and that's not what Americans are going to stand for. This increased debt that is immoral because we're handing it over to our children to pay for us. Those immoral things that are being undertaken today by the Obama administration, New Yorkers and Californians are going to see the light too, and I think there's going to be a huge shift in a few years.
So Sarah Palin could take New York or California?
Maybe not me, but I think a common sense conservative agenda could, absolutely. But the approach just has to be, in terms of me, is not thinking that it would have to be me giving that voice to common sense conservative alternatives to the big spending, big government approach. But the planks in the GOP platform, and I'm not obsessively partisan in terms of letting the partisanship get in the way of just doing what's right for my state and for my country, but the planks in the platform that are built upon free enterprise principles, built up our strong economy that used to make us the economic superpower, and strong national security and respect for equality and respect for life, those common sense, true American ideals, I believe, are going to be more and more embraced by New Yorkers, Californians, all of us, when we see very, very clearly the path that America is on today that I believe, like you do, Laura, is absolutely the wrong path.
Anyone you're looking at for 2012 who you would support and you would get behind early?
Not yet.
Okay, well, I think that it's premature probably even to discuss any of this. One thing that is lighting up the lines on our show, Governor Palin, not just you and your book, but this mammogram recommendation that came out from the U.S. Preventative Task Force and HHS government board saying now that women under the age of 50, don't worry about getting those mammograms. You can start after 50. Well, my experience with breast cancer. I think my life was saved by early detection. What's your take?
I think that you have been brilliant on this because the mammogram recommendations, this whole issue is demonstrating precisely what you pointed out, the problem about the panels, the death panels of government bureaucrats, and I think you call it the hospice shooting, but those panels of bureaucrats having more and more input into Americans' personal decisions really that belong between them and their doctors, and this is what rationed care is going to be about.
Well, and the next thing is different prostate screenings, when you have to begin those, colonoscopies, when you need to begin those. I mean, this is just the beginning of what we're going to see when you have to expand the pool at a government mandate. When you expand the pool, the cost has got to come somewhere. You got to get the care ration somewhere, otherwise the numbers don't add up.
Okay, and why we're desperate about this and trying to have our voice heard on this is what they're trying to cram down our throats, being so extremely dangerous and short-sighted with this health care reform is what they're calling. the problem is that there are alternatives. There are solutions that have been proposed by good members of Congress that the Obama administration is absolutely ignoring. And that's a broken promise, too, by the way. Obama had promised that it would be a bipartisan effort to find these solutions. So there are alternatives to health care reform as it's been introduced to the American public by the liberals. That's what constituents need to remember, too. Those reform measures have been already introduced. They've been ignored, but we need to call out our congressmen who are ignoring them and tell them to get back on track.
Power to the people and breaking protocol. I love your whole thing about breaking protocol in the book, by the way, you know, going around the obstacles. You see an obstacle, you don't see it as an obstacle, you see it as something you just need to go around, and I love that attitude. And Governor Palin, I want to share with our listeners part of our discussion off air we had just now about auctioning off the jacket that you're wearing on the cover of Going Rogue. It's a cool, like, kind of fleece polar jacket with an American flag lapel pin on it, and you've agreed to we can auction it off for the Fisher houses across the United States. So your game?
I'm absolutely game. In fact, I'll call my daughters and tell them, don't wear it. Don't get it dirty. We need to auction it off. I'm happy to.
Sarah Palin, congratulations on a life well lived and many years ahead for you. Congratulations on the book, and you take care. Come back soon.
Hey, thanks so much. You're our hero. Thank you.
All right, Sarah Palin on the Laura Ingraham Show.